All right, Wayne Alaroot with the great Bill O'Reilly, the king of cable news for 16 years in a row. And, of course, you can find him now, not only here at Newsmax, but at BillO'Reilly.com. Hello, Bill. How are you? Hope you had a great weekend.
Thank you. St. Patrick's Day weekend, always a blast here in New York.
Happy St. Patty's Day. I forgot to say that. Let me ask you about some breaking news, which is the fact that you had a conversation this morning with the President of the United States. Tell us about it.
Yeah, I don't think it's breaking news. Once in a while, the president will call me and to discuss matters. But I asked him if this was on the record, the phone call this morning. It's pretty funny because I'm paddling around in my house trying to get ready for your interview and the BillO'Reilly.com newscast. And the phone rings and a woman comes on and goes, is this Mr. O'Reilly? I said, yes. And she goes, this is the White House calling. Can you speak to the president? What do you say? No? Call back? I said, yeah, I think I could squeeze that in. So he comes on the phone, and Wild Bill, which is what he calls me. And then I said, before we get started, can I report what you and I are going to speak about? There was one thing off the record, and the rest of it was on the record. So started with China. Said he's confident that he's going to have a trade deal with China soon. Okay? Then he went to the Iranian sanctions, and he says that they're punishing the mullahs in Tehran to an extent that nobody knows. That's interesting. The third thing was the North Korea. He believes that Little Rocket Man, he didn't call him Little Rocket Man, I am, will come back. Because the sanctions are hurting them as well. Then he got into the Mueller report. I asked him, do you know when it's coming out? He said, no. And I said, well, what you feeling? He said, well, I think they're going to hit me, but there's not going to be any collusion or anything like that. But he doesn't really know, and I believe him. And the final thing was John Kerry, who he says is violating the Logan Act. And as you know, Wayne, that is the act that says Americans, private citizens, cannot negotiate with foreign countries. And he says that Kerry is still talking to the Iranian government. And he's teed off about it. So, and then we talked about, you want to know all about the book I'm writing on him, The United States of Trump. And I wouldn't tell him anything because, that's not what I do. I said it's going to be a history. It's going to be fair. He goes, I know it'll be fair. I said, it's going to be. But, fair is in the eye of the beholder. But I'm halfway done through the book.
All right. Congratulations on a call from the president. Very cool. The shootings at the mosque in New Zealand. Now, he didn't discuss that because that's been the big issue all weekend. I'm shocked by the whole thing. What is, terrible, terrible thing. We all think it's awful. Nobody wants to see anyone get killed, whether they're black, white, Christian, Jewish, or Muslim, or any other kind. But having said that, how is that President Trump's fault? It was 500,000 miles away in New Zealand. It was an Australian man. He had a 75-page manifesto, and he mentioned Trump once. And then when they asked him, are you a Trump fan? He said, oh, God, no. So it seems to me this was not Trump's problem, but the media has made it Trump's problem. What say you?
Well, number one, there's no other story for the media other than Donald Trump. If Donald Trump isn't in the news, they don't have anything to report on. And that's really sad for this country. Really, really sad. So as soon as I saw the Trump haters trying to tie the President of the United States into a mass murder in New Zealand, I turned the channel. I turned it off. Because I've had enough. And I think my feeling reflects the majority of Americans. Enough. President Trump didn't have anything to do with the New Zealand mass murder. And to try to tie him into it is hateful, dishonest, and insulting to the American public. And so that's about all I can say.
All right, I couldn't agree more. Beto O'Rourke. I have to laugh when I say the name Beto O'Rourke because he's not a legitimate candidate. He's never done anything in his life, and his past history is replete with idiotic comments and idiotic fantasies. And now the guy's tying capitalism to racism and white privilege. And all right, he's in for president over the weekend. The media loves him. What says Bill O'Reilly?
Well, he's a six-term congressman from Texas, so I think he's, him running for president is not from outer space. I mean, he's a six-term congressman who almost beat Ted Cruz for the Senate, so I think he's a legitimate guy to run. I mean, I don't think he's a joke. I think that he's a politically correct politician who has few solutions to any vexing problems. In fact, I haven't seen any solutions from Beto O'Rourke about anything. All right? So he's 100% consistent. He has no solutions. Now, maybe he'll come up with some, but so far in a senatorial campaign and now in his initial presidential foray, there's nothing there that I can see. And finally, it's Hollywood money backing him again. He raised $6 million in his announcement. I don't know why the Hollywood pinheads like him so much, but they do. And we'll see. He's got to get out there, and if some tough reporter comes up to him and says, look, Beto, enough's enough. How are you going to solve the border? How are you going to solve the China deficit? What are you going to do here? What are you going to do there? That's what has to happen. But will it happen with our corrupt press? Probably not.
All right, last question. We don't have much time, so I got to ask you to keep it brief, but I can't wait to hear your answer. Judge Jeanine, who's a personal friend of mine, I think she's great. Fox News, ratings, powerhouse on Saturday nights on Fox. She gets suspended for 2 weeks for making a comment, and I just don't see the problem with the comment. I think Fox overreacted dramatically, but what say you?
Well, I don't know what happened inside FNC. But if it's just about her comment on raising a question about who Congressman Omar's allegiance is to, I don't think you suspend somebody for raising a question. But maybe there's something else that we don't know.
And that was what they claim.
Yeah.
No, that's all they claim. That's it.
Yeah, but they wouldn't tell you.
They claim.
They wouldn't tell you if it was an internal matter. They wouldn't put that out because that leaves the corporation open to litigation. They wouldn't do that. But I will tell you, and I think everyone knows, that Fox News is different now than it was when I was there 2 years ago. It's a totally different place. And I think everybody inside and out knows that. I like Donna Brazile. They just today hired Donna Brazile. I like her. I mean, she was always lively and always a good... Yeah, I know what she did with the Hillary Clinton dishonesty. Right. I know that. But I believe in second chances. Yeah, I mean, it's a questionable hire, but if you're looking for a Democrat who's not boring, she's not boring. No.
All right.
You just watched Newsmax TV, America's fastest growing news channel. Newsmax TV is now available for free on your smartphone. Just go to your iPhone or Android store and download the free Newsmax TV app. Then you can watch free TV news with an American spin anytime, anywhere in the world. Newsmax TV, real news for real people.